Hello, I'm Scott Culpepper and welcome to the Ingles table. Today we're going to prepare a delicious fall recipe. This is my spin-off on shrimp and grits. I'm going to do shrimp and grit bites. I got everything I need from Ingles, so let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 2 cups worth of shrimp. The size shrimp I use is 21 to 25 shrimp, but I've thawed it out. They're peeled, they're deveined, and I cut them into about 4s. Each shrimp gives me 4 pieces. I get about 2 cups of that. So I'm going to take a couple tablespoons of butter. We're going to saute these up in some Cajun seasoning. Your choice, really. I have my favorites. I have some that are a little too salty than others, but just pick one and go with it. So once again, this is just a spin-off of shrimp and grits, which I think a lot of people like shrimp and grits. These can be also used with, or could make them with country ham and cheddar cheese, bacon and cheddar cheese, country ham and Gruyere cheese. It's endless. But these are popular for appetizers, for bites, parties, but lots of fun. So I'm gonna start with the shrimp. I'm gonna saute that up. Don't overcook the shrimp. The shrimp's gonna need only about 2 or 3 minutes at the most. And the only seasoning, like I said, I'm using is the Cajun seasoning here. So while these are cooking up, so here I have about 2.5 cups of grits that I have saved from the previous day. These are garlic grits. Just made it simple, quick grits recipe, but I like to use whole milk instead of water. It just adds a creaminess to the grits, makes them a little bit on the richer side. So, and I have just a little over a cup of cheese. Feel free to use however much you want on the cheese. After all, when they come out, they're gonna be super creamy, cheesy bites. So I don't think you can go wrong on having too much cheese. So we're gonna finish off the shrimp, but these would also be good in a Bloody Mary on a skewer. If you wanna impress your friends, everybody's doing so many steps to different Bloody Marys now, sliders, chicken fingers. So these are still continuing to cook. So in preparation for this, I have a dredging station that is just, I've taken about a cup of flour, I have an egg for the egg wash, and then I'm using a seasoned panko breadcrumbs. They come Italian seasoning, you can make your own. Panko breadcrumbs really do work the best because they end up being a lot more crunchier and crispier. So it looks like our shrimp are just about ready. I'm gonna transfer them to this bowl here just to get a quick cooling on them. So since the grease will drop a few degrees once you start adding these in, set it to 350, 360 ideal. Just kind of watch it, because if it goes too low, you're gonna burn your breading and it's gonna soak up all the grease. If it goes too high, it's gonna, the grit bites are gonna start to come apart in the oil and just ruin. So also, I like to cook them outside because sometimes when it's hot during the summer, I don't want my house smelling like fried food. I'll cook it outside on my burner on the grill. So the oil is ready to go. It's at 350. So I'm gonna add the cooked shrimp to our grits. And we're just gonna mix this up until the grits get a little bit softened. So there we go. You can see how the warm shrimp is starting to help break down the grits because they were in the refrigerator. So here's another secret trick. Just get in there with your hands. Until it's the right texture. You want these to be able to hold themselves together. So the less liquid, the better off the butter adds to this. You can see how they're starting to hold together like a cookie dough. I have 2 different types of cookie or ice cream scoops here. This is more of a fun party size. It'll make them about the size of a meatball. But this size is good if I've done them with the whole shrimp where I make the grit ball big and then just put the whole shrimp down, leaving the tail exposed. Makes great presentation. But for today, what I'm gonna do is just add that. Make sure that they're nice and tight. Dredge it in flour. Make sure you knock off the loose flour. The egg wash, of course, is to make sure that the panko sticks. Try and keep one hand for the wet and your other hand for the dry, otherwise you end up with goopy fingers. So it just makes it easier for cleanup. And then we're gonna set those there until we're completely used up all of our grits. So once we get that, we'll come back and we'll finish off frying our grit bites. All right, so we have our grit bites ready to go. And the fryer grease, once again, is still set at 350. So if you have the convenience of an insert like this, I would recommend using it and just setting these little grit bites down in there gently so you don't want them to fall apart, but you also don't want to overcrowd the basket because you don't want them to stick to each other. So we're gonna let these sit in here. We're gonna turn them frequently so that we make sure we get an all over golden brown color to them. They'll cook up for about 5 minutes, and once they're done, we'll come back and plate up the shrimp and grit bites. All right, so we have our crispy fried, panko fried grit bites. I have had them sitting here just so some of the oil could drain off. And I'm going to just take them into here to serve them. You can garnish them with anything, but I've got some diced up jalapenos that I just like to throw in there, just for those of us that like something spicy. And on that jalapeno note, did you know that if you want to find a really spicy jalapeno, these little stretch marks that you find on the jalapeno, that's going to indicate that that pepper is going to be particularly hot. So if you like them, look for those stretch marks, the stress marks. So I'll just take a little bit of parsley here, and there you have it. Crispy fried shrimp and grit bites. Thank you for picking up your copy of Ingles Table Magazine and trying my shrimp and grit bites. There are also many great recipes to be found on the website, so be sure to check them out. I'll see you next time.